For more than 100 years, Schneider Electric has been an industry pioneer of market-leading solutions. As the engineering landscape rapidly changes, no one feels the impacts of the mounting challenges like consulting engineers. We understand these challenges. We face and solve them with you every day. Projects are becoming more complex, faster moving, and the connected world demands immediate answers while margins grow tighter. As an expert in your own right, we're set on making sure that you're equally matched in the manufacturing company you turn to, which is why we're launching Proficient for Consulting Engineers, a suite of services and tools that gives you unparalleled control from design to implementation, solidifying a real connection between highly qualified professionals. Proficient is built on a foundation of E2E, or expert to expert. Through innovative technology, responsiveness, and industry-leading BIM advancements, Proficient is tailored for you. All backed by market-proven Square D and Schneider Electric products with matchless service and support, we're delivering expertise that enables you to excel. You spoke, we listened. Proficient for Consulting Engineers. Expert to expert.
Good day to all. Welcome to Proficient for Consulting Engineers, our Expert to Expert webinar series. Today's topic is LayoutFAST, sponsored by Square D by Schneider Electric. I'm Wendell Leisinger, your moderator today. I am the Segment Manager for Consulting Engineers for Schneider Electric. A little bit of housekeeping for today for our webinar. Please note that our Proficient Consulting Engineer portal is available for you to register and get information on continuing education modules, direct access to tools, our BIM library, specifications, and design apps, along with the latest information on products and solutions to give your designs the needed edge. There is the URL for our portal. About this webinar. As you look at your webinar desktop, please note at the bottom there are a number of buttons. First button is a help button, which is a technical support button if you're having any technical problems. The second button, or yellow button, is the one that controls the slides, the slide that you're viewing at the present time. As a matter of fact, you may want to enlarge the slide by going to the top right-hand corner and maximizing the view so that you can see the details associated when we get into Revit. The green resource button allows you to download a LayoutFAST handout that we've put together, and also gives you a link to our Proficient for Consulting Engineer portal. Second most important is to ask questions. Use the Q&A button. I'm going to be monitoring all of the questions as you ask, and I will be inserting them into our presentation or dialogue, depending on where and what topic that you have asked a question around. We will try to get to all of the questions today. If we do not get to all the questions, we will follow up with you and answer all questions and post them on our site. Last but not least is a survey icon. Please, at the end of the webinar, answer the survey questions that we posted. We like your feedback. As a matter of fact, that's what we live on, is your feedback, and being able to answer your questions and give you the best experience when working with Square D Schneider Electric. Our agenda, objectives, are giving you a little bit of a BIM background, introduce and demonstrate LayoutFAST, a Revit plugin that we've designed for you, and then answer your questions about not only the application, but other questions you may have. To begin, though, I have a couple of questions of our audience. If you would please answer the polling question, are you a project modeler? We found that in our launch of LayoutFAST over the last year, that it's important to know that not only the electrical engineer, but the project modeler or Revit manager or BIM manager is involved in discussions with LayoutFAST. We believe it's very intuitive tool based on Revit for the Revit user. Let's see how the results are coming. So for information for the audience, 64% of those that have responded are project modelers. Very good. Let's move on and give you a little bit of background. Ask those questions that are keeping you up at night. For example, who's driving Revit and the use of building information models? The architect. And more architects are demanding the use of Revit. Others in the stream, like the general contractor, are finding benefits in using Revit for prefab and modular construction. The engineer needs to understand that this activity is going on such that maybe the design changes facilitate modular construction more so today than they have in the past. Oh, those manufacturers' static model libraries. Every manufacturer has a static model library that sometimes becomes problematic when the model sizes are large. All of our models in our library are less than 500K in size. Also, the functionality of Revit on some of the manufacturers' models is very limited. We like to leverage the features and functions of Revit in all of our modeling, which you will see. And last but not least, many of you have recognized and have asked Autodesk for a Revit busway connector such that busway can be drawn throughout your building. We will show you what we've done to address that issue. Another polling question. Have you installed the LayoutFAST application yet on your machine? We find that it takes a minute or two to install LayoutFAST, and we're also updating it from the cloud such that it's always current. We're finding that it's very easy to use, and your feedback has been truly the fact that it is easy to use and intuitive. It looks like we have an opportunity, and hopefully through this webinar, we'll convince you to take a look at LayoutFAST and download it to your machine. LayoutFAST background. We started in July of 2013 with the first launch of LayoutFAST after 4 months of programming and work within our group. We have modified, enhanced, and improved LayoutFAST quarterly since that time. As a matter of fact, we announced LayoutFAST 3.0 at the Revit Technology Conference in Washington, D.C., late July 2015 of this year. It was a great success, and today, hundreds of users are using LayoutFAST. We're calling it, it's the electrical revolution. One more polling question. For those that have downloaded LayoutFAST, have you taken LayoutFAST for a test drive? Have you checked with your BIM manager, your project manager, other Revit modelers in your group, or associates that are using Revit? Let's take a look. More opportunities exist for you to be able to experience LayoutFAST. With that, I'd like to turn it over to our presenter today. I refer to him as our LayoutFAST Revit guru, Gene Candela. Gene and I have been working in Revit for a number of years. Gene is our expert in Revit, and he's going to go through in detail and show you today LayoutFAST 3.0. With that, I'll turn it over to Gene Candela.
Hi, everybody. I just kind of give a little bit of background about myself. My background is architecture and engineering, and about 10 years ago I started doing Revit, and from there I just saw that Revit needed a lot of improvement, and I worked for an A&E firm, design build, for a couple of years doing just Revit for them, and then I decided to branch out, start, producing apps and creating RFAs for manufacturers, trying to develop, a better RFA, a better experience. And I basically worked for, some of the biggest, manufacturers in the country, and then eventually I just came to work for Schneider Electric, and because I saw a need for the electrical industry, needing, better RFAs and better tools, and I saw that, that the electrical portion of Revit is really lacking, and we spent a lot of time with Autodesk, and for some reason, even with us trying to push and persuade them to kind of work with us, we do have an agreement with them now, and we're working really closely together trying to develop some things, but we just saw an opportunity. I saw an opportunity, and so I've been working with Schneider full-time for about 4 years now. It was a little slow going in the beginning, but we basically, got the approval to do all these cool things, and I want to show you today. First thing I want to do is just show you this basic LayoutFAST, how it works. Real quickly, I'm not going to get into any details. I'm just going to show you here. I'm just going to place a panel board here. I'll get into most of the detail here in a second, but I just want to show you how fast it is to use LayoutFAST. As you can see, within 10 seconds, you can have an RFA on the wall. Now, a lot of questions that we always get are, hey, is this a true RFA? Is this some kind of imported object? To demonstrate that this is, oops, I guess if I select the voltage first. Now, as you can see here now, I'm going to create a panel schedule. As you can see here, it works. It's your typical RFA. We spent quite a bit of time trying to develop a technology that would basically control the RFA from the cloud. And basically now, instead of your typical BIM repository that's on the cloud, you basically have RFAs up there that have been there for quite a while. Some manufacturers just dump stuff on the onto whether it's Seek or other BIM repositories like that, and they pretty much stay there. They're static, and it doesn't get updated. And plus, too, the information that they put on to the RFAs is very limited. So, as you can see, LayoutFAST is pretty fast. And so what I'm going to do here real quick is, just in case you guys want to know, kind of give you a little quick where's LayoutFAST? Where can you download LayoutFAST if you haven't downloaded it already? Okay, so if you go to bim-schneiderelectric.com and you get to our homepage and you click on LayoutFAST, you can then just click on the download. It takes 30 seconds. And once you have it downloaded, you'll get there's your download screen, and you start your app. You'll basically this is your first your first screen, and then your second screen. Just want to hit accept. And then this screen, all it's doing is telling you that, hey, I found 2014, 2015, and 2016 Revit. Would you let me put the plugins in? You say, yeah, you just hit next, basically. If you want to change it, you can actually take out 14 if you didn't want it on 14, and then click on install. Once you hit install, it's going to ask you to basically, is it okay to install this onto your computer? Hit yes, and 30 seconds later, you'll have LayoutFAST. Of course, you have to have Revit turned off, so make sure that Revit's not running at the time. It'll warn you. All right, so let's get a little tour of LayoutFAST. One of the things that I wanted to do with LayoutFAST is, as a Revit user, I didn't want to keep going back and forth to the website, or Schneider Electric's website. So I try to put everything inside the app that you would need. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell here. And what I want to show you is basically, first, Schneider has multiple sister companies. So we have Schneider Electric, which basically if you select Schneider Electric, you'll get all the products. If you just want to filter down just to Square D products, it'll take out all the other manufacturers, sister companies, and basically get down to just the Square D. Once you select a Square D, next time once you get out of Revit, you come back in, it'll stay in Square D. It's not going to make you go back to Schneider again. Once you're in any one of the companies, you can basically then click on this little button to the side here, and you can filter what products you're looking for, and filter it down a little bit more. Of course, we're working on right now. Every day we're working on getting more and more products in here. We don't have as many as we want to right now, but in time you'll see at least 30 or 40 products here. All right. Next is our home button, and what that is basically is our we're going to change this to news, basically, our blog page, and basically you can read about what's coming up in the new versions of Revit. This is when we launched Revit 3.0. So this is basically going to have a way for us to communicate with you, telling you what's coming up and other information about LayoutFAST. Last button here is the Select tab, and in the Select tab you basically get all your products, and then we break it down to 3 different tabs below, and what you have is your products, your favorites, and your recents. If you're in products and you click on any one of these thumbnails, you basically go straight into the design mode. If you click on favorites and you click on one of these objects, oh, sorry, I'm on the other screen. Okay, uh-oh. Hold on one second here. I'm on multiple screens and this flew off the screen.
So, Gene, there are a couple questions that came in that maybe I can pop up.
Yeah.
For example,
sure.
Paul asks, does LayoutFAST work with either Revit 2013 or 14? That was Robert.
It works with it works with 2014, 15, and 16.
That's correct. And Paul asked the same question, are you updating the suite for Revit 2016? So everybody, it's 2014, 15, and 16 ready.
Okay.
Another question from Joe. Okay. Joe's asking, do we have a MCC layout? The answer is not yet. We're working on it, though, Joe, as we speak.
Yeah, sorry. It's off the screen here, and I can't get to it. I'm trying to figure out how to get to this thing. How do I get to this thing? Being on this web, it's a little tricky here.
Maybe, Gene, do you want to drop off, come back in?
No, yeah, I'm just going to have to, hold on a second. Let's kill. Oh, no, I can't do that. I save project, yes. Sorry, folks.
There was another question that came in earlier. The question was, how many attendees do you have for today? We have over 250 attendees at the present time. And many more have registered that will be reviewing the recording 24 hours from today.
Okay, I'm just loading Revit back up real quick here. Actually, tell you what, once you give a little bit more history on there, let me just get this going here.
Understand. Henry asked, do you install the app for each version of Revit, or just one time for all versions? And the answer is just one time for all versions. on 2014, 2015, and 2016 from the very same app.
Okay, we won't be doing that again. All right. I gotta go ahead.
Nicholas asked a question around, do working clearances change automatically based on selective voltage? Not yet, Nicholas. What we're doing is we're putting the working clearances on there as a tool for the Revit modeler to use. We haven't gotten Revit to recognize, even though we know it will, say, for example, one means of egress of electrical room versus two means of egress, or if you have equipment face-to-face. We will make those working clearances more automatic in the future, but today they're manual and for you to use, such as you can run your soft collisions when running collisions and clashes.
Okay, all right, I get it back. Okay, sorry everybody, I'm just going to pull it off the screen because what it's trying to do is trying to shift it off the screen to my and off the monitor. So basically, if you click on the favorites and then click on like the transformer, for example, here I have a test favorites. If I hit on recents here, I'm going to pull it off screen so it doesn't flop off screen again, and I click on transformer, it's basically going to show you the last 10 configurations that you just did. Okay, I apologize for that. This something about this webinar thing we're doing that it didn't like those little pop-up windows. Okay, so favorites, you can save your favorites, and I'll show you how to do that. It'll remember the last 10 configurations that you just did. Another thing, if you're in Canada or Mexico, if you can actually filter out products that are only for your country. So in most cases, I think everybody here is United States, so click on the United States. Then we have two other options here to view the products, and basically have thumbnail and then you have details. So basically, if you want to read a little bit about the product before you select it, like a little bit about our low voltage, energy efficient transformer, you'll get a little bit of description of what it is. And that's basically that bar. All right. So one thing I wanted to show you, for example, here is that if we give you a new notification that say was a new blog or new piece of news, basically you're going to get this little orange button right here by your name, and you click on that, and basically it'll give you, show you all the new blogs that just came out or whatever news that just came out. If you see the little notification by the products tab here, when you click on this, ooh, I must put off the screen again. You'll see basically this products update, and basically it's telling you here is a new product, and basically we've added this new voltage system in here, and you just click on update, and you now have updated data. So this is our way to constantly update data in RFAs, so you're constantly having the most up-to-date information. If there's a bug or whatever that you find inside the app, we have a way to basically feedback. You can give us feedback. Say, hey, this is I'm trying to do this and it's not working correctly. So basically, that'll come straight to us and we can fix it for you. And then it literally, as fast as we get the email, we can get this, if it's a simple fix like, adding a voltage system in there, we can just send it right back to you, and and all you have to do is update your product and you've got it. So we're trying to, get your feedback as fast as possible back to you, okay? So next I wanted to go over, that was home tab select. All right, now, we're going to configure a product, and what we're going to do here is we're going to configure this low voltage transformer. First thing you notice here is this blue bar here, and what we call this is the building lifecycle bar. To us, this is a very important thing from our customers. One of the things that we kept getting feedback from them was, hey, I just want to place a transformer and just reserve some space. I don't have to go and then answer 30, 40 questions to get to this particular, size transformer. I just wanted to place it and hopefully get it within the, somewhat to the right size. So we decided that, hey, what we can do is we built this bar to accommodate that problem. So for example, if this is schematic design, design development, construction documents, construction administration, and facilities management. These are typical terms you hear in the industry. We could have said LOD 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, but not everybody's BIM user who uses the app, so we decided to, hey, you know, it's common ground here. So if you select SD, which is schematic design, usually a product has one feature that basically dictates the size. So it doesn't matter if I click on a 75 kVA, it's, you know, that 75 kVA is always going to be this particular size right here. Now the price may change and the weight may change because this is just a typical 75 kVA. If I come in here and I start adding, you know, copper and stuff like that, you know, copper windings, of course it's going to change the weight and change the price. But it's basically going to take aluminum and your typical, you know, transformer. So when you click on the 75 kVA, you have a cut sheet that'll tell you everything, and pop the other direction, okay? So, you know, you can have all information about that. As you can see, this is a lot of information that's embedded into the RFA. Now, you can't see it, so it's done through the program, and basically it's kind of hidden in there, so, but all this information is there. So everything you need to know about this product, the performance, all the different pieces, you know, some of the information is missing here because we're still adding stuff. But basically everything you need to know about this transformer. Now you're thinking, oh, in order to do this, the file size. It adds 1K to the file size. It's very, 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 very tiny file. Autodesk actually, they reviewed this LayoutFAST just recently at RTC, and they were super impressed. They loved that feature that you can stick all the data into a little tiny little 1K you know, bump. So I click on the 75 kVA. I'm going to insert it into the project. Click on the plane. As you can see, just one question and answer, and I have a 75 kVA. Now, I found a little bit more information about this, and what I want to do now is I want to go back to LayoutFAST, and I say, okay, I want to take a look at this transformer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to retrieve. Ooh, bad. Okay, now, since I didn't give it a name, it's just considered placeholder. So this is your typical 75 kVA transformer information here. Okay, so now I can actually start editing it. I can start saying, okay, you know what? Yeah, I want to change it to make it 3R here, frequency 60 megahertz, non-shielded, and now I want to give it a name. Okay, I'm going to call it GP 5, and then we're going to update it. Maybe I should have changed the size of it. Yeah. That way it actually looked like it did something. Here, hold on a second. Let me do that again. Now let's bump up the size so you can see something happening. Okay, as you can see, presto. So basically you can pull back any of our objects or any of our RFAs in the project and update them. So, you know, working on the project and you come back and you say, oh, you know, I don't need 750 kVA. I can actually drop it down to you know, a smaller kVA. You don't have to go in there and download a new type. All you have to do is just use LayoutFAST and basically retrieve that, you know, particular designation there and just change the 75 kVA to something else. Say to 250. As you can see, oops. And so basically there's no configuration for that size on that voltage, so it's basically you have to change it, you have to re-answer some of the questions because they're not always going to be the same. And number 2, update. As you can see, that fast. Okay, so went over a typical product here. Couple of things here also on the design tab. Okay, so you have the question and answers here. If you happen to know the catalog number, I can start typing it in and I can select. So you can do a search and it answers just a question. Since the thing to understand about the search thing is that these catalog numbers will only give you basic information. It's not going to tell you whether you want it on the floor or NEMA 2 or NEMA 3R. this is just going to give you the basic information for that catalog number. You still have to answer some more questions. So if I come in here and I just say test, and I might answer a few questions here. I can click on the star here. I can then type in, webinar, say save, and then, I can clear this up, come back, and hit the webinar, and pulls it right back up. And also, like I was showing you earlier, when you hit favorites here, it'll do the same thing. So now if I click on here, which I'm not going to do, is it'll pop on the screen. So you have a search capability to find the catalog numbers. Now, if it's an ETO product, an ETO for Schneider Electric is something like a panel boards that don't have catalog numbers. They're, basically you have pieces and parts that make up one product. So your panel boards, your switch gear, stuff like that, your switchboards, they're going to be ETO products, and they're not going to be able to have a catalog number. We do have, inside of LayoutFAST, we create our own catalog numbers, so they're not going to be in any digest or anything like that. So you can follow along, and so it will work, but it's not a documented thing. It's just basically for us inside of LayoutFAST to have some kind of number, giving a designation of what that particular product is. Okay, so as you saw earlier, we have the results. Now the results vary from product to product. Some products will have list price, some products will not. It depends on, if that's something that we publish out to our customers. It'll tell you the weight, the dimensions here. Another feature we try to add, instead of, we have, if you click on any one of these buttons, basically you come straight to the product website. This is the product catalog. So instead of, spending all that time looking on our website, trying to find things, which, sometimes is not the easiest thing in the world. But if you want to click on the catalog, it'll pull up the catalog for you. You don't have to go searching for it. So you have technical information here. Once you have it configured, you can hit product cut sheet, and as I showed you earlier, it gives you the catalog number and basically gives you all the data that goes along with that particular catalog number. So you see here, it tells you the mechanical lug sizes and kit, product number, or catalog numbers and stuff like that. If you click on product drawings, that if the drawings are available, you just click on it and you basically get to the drawings. Then we have basically these are the data dots. So if you come to the catalog and you open up the catalog, the first thing you're going to read about this particular product is what it is and what the benefits are. So we decided, hey, instead of having to open up the catalog and trying to read it, what we're going to do is we're going to create basically, here's a product overview. Here's a product more in detail of exactly what this is. And here's the features for this particular product, features and options. And in this one case, I didn't have it missing the information, but it would be standards. So if it was a US UL label standard or Canadian standards, you basically would see that information there. All right. So another feature that we have here is, what if I configured something and I have it all done? I want to send it to an engineer or an architect or somebody for approval, or just to pass the information on that has LayoutFAST. Of course, they have to have LayoutFAST to make this work. You can right-click over the insert button, and you can save this configuration. You save it to your hard drive, and so in this case, I'll just hit save. I'll save it to my documents. Say webinar. Oops. And I can clear out of here, and I can right-click on retrieve, open it, and pull it right back up. So if you want to email it to somebody, we are putting in an email button on our next version, so you can actually just send it without having to do what I just did there. You can actually just send it to somebody if you want to share, configurations. Okay. Like Wendell was saying earlier. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Wendell.
David asked, are all families hosted?
They're hosted right now. Because we do have like 20% of the customers have asked for non-hosted, we are basically, frantically changing, we'll basically, have a question here. It'll be hosted or non-hosted. And so you can do both. We're getting it, as fast as possible. That's one thing that's been asked for, and it's the one thing we haven't done yet, and we're doing that right now.
There are a number of people asked questions around low voltage and medium voltage transformers and if they meet the new DOE 2016 standard. We are working on that as we speak. We expect to be able to put both low voltage and medium voltage transformers dimensional information in LayoutFAST momentarily.
Yeah, as you can see here, we just started putting those in. So you haven't got this yet. We'll have it uploaded here soon. This is actually a little bit ahead of what you guys have. But yes, they will be coming here soon. Definitely for sure. We're working on that.
Question from Steve. When you perform an update, is your previous family saved?
Well, all the family, it's the same RFA constantly. There's nothing, it's the same RFA. Nothing changes there. When you change, what you're changing basically is the data, okay? If you want to go back to the previous data, that's a good question. I never actually, don't think so. I think it just automatically changes it. Oh no, actually it doesn't. It keeps all, yes, it keeps all of the types that you had already. So yes, it does keep all the types. I never actually paid attention to that, but yes. So it remembers the type that you have, and you would have to delete it if you don't want that type anymore. Good question. Never been asked that question before.
Another question, are there plans to add building automation products to LayoutFAST? The answer is yes. We've talked about controls, thermostats, VAVs, things that reserving space is critical.
Yeah, we actually started building them. We do have them built. One of the things that I can tell you right now, as being a Revit user and somebody who's trying to push the envelope of Revit and manufacturers RFAs, the hardest part to this whole technology is the data. The data is difficult because data is usually in documents, and that and manufacturers are like Schneider have learned that hey this data has to come out of documents now, and Schneider's making a big huge push to be digital. Everything is digital, so you'll have that data here quickly. Products have come out faster now because we're not pushing it through documents now. We're going to be pushing it through the digital stream. So yeah, we should have all that stuff here. We have the RFAs, but sometimes we don't have the data to back it up yet. But if you need an RFA, we can definitely give it to you.
We have one question about the LayoutFAST download. Is it a one-time download only? Or can I come back when I get 2016 and download again?
Okay, that's a good question there. So if you had 2015 and you downloaded LayoutFAST and you downloaded 2016 like 3 months later, you will have to uninstall and then reinstall LayoutFAST to make it work in 2016. It can't see it until you reinstall it. So it's basically it's really easy. Actually I had it open just in case this might happen, or just somebody ask a question like that. So, for example, you would go into into your control panel, programs and features. You would find LayoutFAST 64-bit. We do have the 32-bit if you need one. Most people who are using Revit, only use 64-bit. But if you have a problem and your machine basically says it's not compatible, usually means that it's a 32-bit. And if you have that problem, just email us, and we basically can get you a 32-bit version. We used to do both, but we found out that 99% of the people have 64-bit now, and once in a blue moon we'll find somebody with 32-bit. But all you have to do is come in here, click on the Schneider Electric LayoutFAST 64-bit, say uninstall, and then after you get your 2016 up and running, and then reinstall it, and then you'll have everything back to normal. Okay, next question.
Is Revit MEP required, or is normal Revit enough?
You can get away with probably about 80% of the products with LayoutFAST. The ones you can't, maybe even more than that, the ones you can't get away with are, so I also designed this for architects who just want to place something just to show, hey, you know, this is an electrical room, you want to place a panel real quick or a transformer or something like that. The one thing you cannot, like for example here, some of these products, for example, this Power Pack frame, M-frame here, circuit breaker, this is not an RFA. This is just data. So if you were trying to find out information, some of these we're going to start labeling them. Hey, this is just for product information only. If there's no RFA, so that you can use it with no problem there. But like if you were using an EV charging station, of course, all that would work. Panel boards, everything would work. The one thing you can't do in architecture, of course, is you can't create a voltage definition or anything like that. So you have to you can only place the object. Now, the one thing you can't do is eyeline the busway. And the reason why that is that we use our busway app basically hijacks the cable tray command. And I'll get into that in just a second here. And then basically, it just uses the cable tray command to build our Schneider Electric busway. It's just sort of been the typical way of other manufacturers trying to solve the same problem. So that's the one RFA, or not RFA, but the one product you won't be able to use. Everything else you'll be able to place like normal. You just won't be able to, of course, hook it up to any panel boards or anything like that. Any questions? Any more questions?
There's a number of questions, but it's pertaining to your next set of demonstrations around switchboards and busway.
Okay, excellent. Okay, I guess there is one more thing I forgot to go over, and that is that if you forget what all this stuff is, whatever screen you're on, if you just hit Get Help, it'll basically it'll explain to you what all the different pieces and parts are, and as you can just flip through here, and that's kind of hard to see sometimes, but just flip through here, and you basically get all the information here. We don't have it yet, but we're working on, so if you need more information, it doesn't quite, you still need a little bit more information. So we're going to have it to when you click on this, it'll go to a website and basically give you a very detailed explanation of how to use that particular function. So even if, I get out of here, hit close, and then I go to transformers, and also works in this page too. It tells you everything, and just, so if you ever get lost, it kind of can tell you. And we debated about this because we wanted to make it a very intuitive tool that you didn't need any instructions like it was a iPhone app or some kind of Android app. This is kind of where we were trying to go with this. So we wanted to make it as intuitive as possible. Another thing, once you load you load up LayoutFAST, I know just because I can see people's names and company information and stuff like that. If you would just make sure you fill out all this information correctly, at least the country and who you are exactly. And the reason that we need to know that information is that, one, we need to see exactly who's downloading it and basically what their needs are. Two, with that, basically that's the same thing. It's the same. We just need to know who you are. So we're not using this for any reason other than the fact that, this is telling us, how many architects have downloaded and stuff like that. And, the other reason, there was another reason. And the other reason, too, is that we're working on is the ability to, a minute ago I was telling you about the send button, so you can email it to someone else, but we want to get to the point where LayoutFAST is a collaboration system. So anybody who's in LayoutFAST, if you know their name and you can actually create teams and stuff like that, you can say, okay, look, I want to send this to all my teammates, or I just want to send this to, if you're, say, a BIM specialist and you want to send it to the engineer, you can come in here and say, okay, send it to, Bob the engineer, and what's going to happen is basically he's going to get a little notification right here, and it's going to say, you click on the notifications and say, hey, BIM specialist wants to know, is this configuration, is it going to work for this particular project? So that, in order to do that, you have to have your name and stuff in there. Definitely have to have your name in there. Okay. So the next product I want to get into is we talked about is the switchboard. The two products, I mean, most all the products are exactly the same. They work exactly the same except two products, which is the busway and the switchboard. And the switchboard, when you click on switchboard, it looks just like normal. There's nothing new about this. It's just exactly like all the other products. But there's a little difference here. What it's asking you to do now is just come in here, give it a name. Oops. And answer the question. Now, all these questions are going to, so if you put in 5 sections, this is the information that's going to be attached to each section. So every section will have the same voltage definition, the short circuit rating, they'll all be aluminum. You can't just have, aluminum copper. So basically, this is going to be the data that's going to be pushed out throughout the whole system. Okay. As soon as I answer the last question, this is going to pop up. And you click on the blue arrow, and then you can start building your system. So I'll pull this up here where you can see what's going on here. As you can see here, every time I click on a button, it is adding. So I'm going to add a couple extras here. All right. Cancel out of that screen. Now I can come in here and I can say, look, if I added one too many, I can delete one. I can come in here and say, look, I want to put this one ahead of this one. So you can flip them back and forth. And these little triangles basically mean that there's still questions to be answered here. So this is going to be the main, and it's going to be 5,000, and this is going to be a feeder. So you're just answering the questions here. And this comes in 2 different widths. So I want to pick the 54 width, and 4,000, feeder, and another feeder. Okay. We've answered all the questions. Another feature we have here is that if you want this to be left justified and right justified, you can flip-flop them back and forth. It gives you the overall dimensions. Once you have everything done, you can hit insert and place it into the project. And there you go. That easy. All right. Any questions about that? And like I said earlier, we have the one click. Okay.
Right.
All right. Each product is, has different types of data. In this case here, if you wanted to watch the product overview video, it'll go through everything about our switchboard. So, if you're interested in more about our particular products, if it's available, we'll give it to you. All right. Next I'm going to go over is eyeline. Now, we did get a question back on this, and we're going to go ahead.
In the sake of time, you may want to move to busway. We have about 7 minutes left.
Okay. All right. So the one thing about busway, and because we had that question, or we're running out of time here, is that you're answering it just like normal. You just answer the questions like you normally do. And the one thing about busway, which we're going to change now, we're going to put a little progress bar in here. We didn't realize that some people are going to get confused here. When I basically hit insert, it's going to start loading 20 RFAs. Okay, and these 20 RFAs take a little time. They take 45 seconds, depending on your system. Okay. So if you look under cable tray fittings here, you will see that it created, busway, Snyder Electric, cross, elbows, and stuff like that. It takes 45 seconds, average on my machine. So we're going to put a little progress bar in there so you're not confused and you're thinking, hey, this thing is froze up on me. We had a couple people ask, hey, I think this thing's frozen. And just trying to explain to them, it takes a little bit of time to download 20 RFAs and then put all the data in the RFAs. But once that is done, LayoutFAST has nothing to do with it, busway. So you have to know how to use the cable tray command. So in this case, what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to put in a vertical. I already did this, so I'll just do this real quick. I want to put in a vertical cut out. And so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start drawing my busway and make sure I'm in there. All right, cable tray. I'm going to come in here. By the way, this is probably not the best way of doing it in 3D, but it's just cool to look at when you do it. So I'm going to say 15 foot and make sure I'm 180 degrees here. Oops, I just thought I picked it and I didn't. All right. Do that again. System, cable tray. Oh, I did not have it. Okay, click on there. Try it again. Oops. 15 foot. As you can see here, it's going to start using our fittings. I get that like that. Okay. So then, once you've got the busway drawn, it's basically using cable tray. There's nothing special about it. You just have to know how to use cable tray. We do have a couple extra commands, and we have some more coming. If you want to put in hangers, just click anywhere on the busway, and it'll go ahead and it'll ask you the spacing and everything. And in this case, let's say 5 foot, and as you can see, it puts the hangers in. You know, another thing you can do, well, in this case, you can't see because it's almost rectangular square, but you can change the orientation, you know, to flat or edgewise. If you need to throw in a plug, you can actually come in here and throw in a plug, and basically, you know, that shows you where, you know, you want to plug in devices. And so, as you can see here, it gives you all the basics. And what we have coming now very soon here is that you'll be able to click on to the cable tray command, and you'll break it down in all the pieces and then give you a complete BOM based on our catalog numbers, and that's coming soon. Any more questions? Any questions on busway? I know it's pretty fast there, but since we're running out of time.
Are switchboards nested families? One question.
They are individuals. They're individual families. Now, let me give you one little warning here. We haven't figured this out yet. We need to figure this out, and that is that if you come back and retrieve this and place it again, if you have things connected to it, you know, like whether panel boards or whatever, it's going to, if you come back in here, retrieve it, you know, and I pull it back up. Like here, I can come back in here, I can delete this one here. The problem is that, you know, when I update this, it's going to rebuild the thing, and we're working on a way to fix that right now because, and just repopulate it. It's a lot of code that's involved here, and so we need to work on that. It's the one thing that, you know, that we need to definitely get working on here soon, is to do that.
There are several questions around shared parameters, Gene, if you want to move to the next section.
Yeah, we're working on this also. This is actually, this is not your version. This is actually the new version coming out. Well, it's a little bit ahead of what you guys have. It's something I wanted to show you. We're working on this, so we're trying to debug it and everything right now. But in the future, if you click on the products, we have a thing called mapping. Okay, so now I'm going to click on mapping here. And I'm going to click on, say, general duty. Oh, crap. I'm off the screen. Let me get that back. Okay, so what's going to happen is that there's a screen that pops up, and you'll list all the parameters that are Schneider Electric. And beside there, there'll be a box. And what it's going to do is its first question it's going to ask you is, you know, what is your share parameters? And basically, you pick your company share parameters, and then you go to each individual parameter that we have, and you say, this is the share parameter that we want it to replace. Okay? Dang it. I'm not even thinking about that. I'll have to get out of this real quick. But basically, you'll be able to share, you know, you'll be able to map all of our parameters to your parameters. And I'll pull this up real quick here. And and I'll show you. I'll just pull it off the screen. But yes, so you'll be able to do that. And I think that's going to be a huge factor because a lot of people were saying, well, your RFAs are great, but and they're light. They do exactly what have all the data you want in there, but we have our own parameters, our own shared parameters. So in order to fix that problem, we basically said, all right, no problem. We'll just create a way to map them. And just give me 1 second here, and I can show you. And I apologize. Like I said, it's popped off the screen here. So let me do this transformer here. I'm going to get into there. And oops, before I do that, let's do this. Pop it off.
So while Gene's doing that, there are a number of other questions that are coming in. Thank you very much for your questions. We will answer all these questions, but we won't be able to do it during this webinar. We'll get back to you specifically. We may be posting all the questions so that others can see them as well. Questions around, are you using interoperability with SKM or ETAP? And the question is, we're investigating as we speak.
Yes, we're definitely working on a solution for that right now. But let me show you this real quick, and that is that you come in here, you pick the shared parameters file that you have. Here I have a little demo here, just a test. And so then I come in here, like for example, if I have here, as you can see, I did this. I did primary voltage. I just picked the system voltage here, and then I came down here and I said this is ours. This is this would be yours. You hit apply, and it automatically updates all the RFA. So the next time you put it into the project, this is it. Every time you use it from that point on, it will have your shared parameters. So what I did real quick before the webinar here is I created a schedule. This is basically using those shared parameters from your, that would be from your company. So basically, you're using your shared parameters and not our parameters. Our parameters are all family parameters. But as you can see here, you can start scheduling your own parameters. So that's coming out very, very soon here. I mean, that's another issue, just like the hosting thing that people are asking for. That's very important to us. So that's coming very soon.
I see that we're out of time. We have a lot of questions. We hope today that Gene's showing and demonstrating LayoutFAST has piqued your interest and that you want to take it for a test drive. A lot of the questions that you're asking are about Revit and whether Revit saves it here or saves it to your hard drive and other questions. And some of you are even commiserating with Gene in the fact that Revit finally broke our webinar, one of the gentlemen said. With that, I'll take my screen back, Gene, and we'll sum up. Thank you very much, Gene. We'll sum up. Make certain that you're visiting our Proficient for Consulting Engineer portal, which has continuing education information, direct access to tools like LayoutFAST, which you just saw, and our models, design apps, calculators, and others. Also the latest and greatest in product solutions that are available for your designs as the needed edge. We're going to end with a very brief video showing our Consulting Engineer portal. Thank you very much for your time and interest. With that, I'll turn it over to the video, and have a great day.
Today's busy consulting engineer needs more than just a helpful website. You need a trusted advisor and guide for insight and support. With our new Consulting Engineer web portal, Schneider Electric is just that, an expert source for product information, a seasoned second opinion, a layout specialist, a news and information resource, your own customized support system that makes you, your projects, and your business better. Product catalogs, technical support, codes and standards detail, specs, layout and coordination tools, expert insights, and industry updates are all as close as a simple click. Got a product question? Access our enhanced digital version of the yellow binders you may have used in the past. Digest Plus gives you instant online access to Schneider Electric's entire product line, with technical, application, and layout information on our complete product catalog. Trying to choose the right circuit breaker? The Selective Coordination tool lets you quickly test various system and breaker combinations, allowing you to conduct preliminary analysis on the fly. With your product selected, you can configure and insert them into your design in seconds with our LayoutFAST app. The Schneider Electric Consulting Engineer Portal allows you to make quicker, better informed decisions that you can apply immediately to your project plan. Speaking of staying better informed, your portal is also an ever-changing information hub with continuous updates on products, industry news, and educational opportunities. A quick scroll through the homepage gives you instant access to our ARC Flash Resource Center with industry white papers, webinars, and analysis on today's most complex code issues. Technical specs, codes and standards, and a BIM library with small, rich product model files you can download. A powerful product FAQ tool for quick answers to your most common questions. A comprehensive white paper library with the latest engineering insights and best design practices. Up-to-the-minute industry news with continuous updates on events, tools, products, practices, anything relevant to your business. And to stay educated on all of it, webinars, online training, and meeting events to keep you current while allowing you to earn PDH, CEU, and other continuing education credits. When it comes to easy navigation and instant access to everything that improves both you and your projects, the Schneider Electric Consulting Engineer Portal is your essential one-stop support center.
Thank you, and please complete the survey before you leave.